Shalom. My name is Moreh IshiYAH Yisrael from the House of Israel in Cincinnati, Ohio, 2330 Kemper Lane, bringing to you in 40 minutes or less. In 40 minutes or less, I will prove beyond a shadow of a doubt the word of Yahweh. Who is this Yahweh? Yahweh is the creator of the heaven, the earth, the sea, and all that is therein. Yahweh is the Elohim of our fathers, Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yisrael, whom you may know as Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Yahweh is our judge. Yahweh is our lawgiver. Yahweh is our king, who will save us. Shalom. Welcome to another program of 40 minutes or less. Today's program, which is lesson 36, we will deal with Yahweh's purpose of three, or the third. As we've been bringing to you, Yahweh's purpose, for to every season there's a time. And there's a time to every purpose under heaven. So all these various times are important and essential. Here it is. You wake up at a certain time. You're born at a certain time. You die at a certain time. You eat at a certain time. You do everything at a certain time. And you don't have no understanding of why. Why does these times matter, and what is their purpose? This is what we bring into you. Yahweh's purpose of three today. And just like everything else, we would do this, bring this to you in 40 minutes or less, because it don't take 40 minutes and oftentimes less than 40 minutes to prove the word of Yahweh. And we're going to start our discussion on this subject matter, just showing you what happened and what Yahweh purposed in the third. And then we will let you know exactly what it means. In the book of Genesis, the first chapter, this is where we're going to begin. Genesis 1. In the book of Genesis, the first chapter, we're going to start reading at the 9th verse. Or, yes, the 9th verse. And Elohim said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. And Elohim called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters called he seas. And Elohim saw that it was good. And Elohim said, let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth. And it was so. And the earth brought forth grass, and herb yielding seed after his kind, and the tree yielding fruit whose seed was in itself after his kind. And Elohim saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the third day. So as we can see, the Almighty will make the earth on the third day. The Almighty will make the seas on the third day. And the Almighty will also bring forth from the earth the fruit tree yielding seed, as well as the herb yielding seed from the earth. This is what the Almighty did on the third day, which is which represents the third time that Yahweh went to make and create. So what do that mean though? What is the purpose between for the third? And this is what we're going to prove to you beyond a shadow of a doubt. That when the Almighty did things in the third, he would do it in a manner for the purpose of his holiness and separation. This is the time where Yahweh will separate things apart from everything else. And he will do it in the third. Even though he did this in the seventh, also it's a different type of separation in the seventh, because in the seventh, he didn't just separate things. Whereas in the seventh, he separated, he blessed, he ended his work, he rested, he did a lot more. But the third, this is the time where Yahweh will demonstrate, okay, this is separated from everything else. And let me show you what I mean. And prove beyond a shadow of a doubt what I'm telling you is the truth. And it don't matter if it's the third born, the third day, the third generation, the third tribe, the third one. It don't matter. The third is a time of separation. The first place I want you to go, and just like we've been doing also, even though the Creator said, let every matter be established by 2 or 3 witnesses, we will establish this in 10 witnesses, be proven beyond a shadow of a doubt. What I'm telling you is the truth. The first witness in the book of Deuteronomy, the 26th chapter. This is what you have to know about the Most High and what the Almighty purpose for you to know. But let's see if you will have any respect and honor for the purpose of Yahweh. In the book of Deuteronomy, the 26th chapter, this is what the scriptures tell us in the 12th verse concerning the purpose of 3. Watch this. When thou hast made an end of tithing all the tithes of thy increase, the third year. Now, why is it singling out the third year? Because we're talking about the third. We're talking about 3. We're talking about something being sanctified, which means being separated, which is the year of tithing, and has given it unto the Levite. Now, I mean, hey, every year our people tithe, but he's saying in this third year, it's the year of tithing, even though they tithe every year. The stranger, the fatherless, the widow, that they may eat within thy gates and be filled. Then thou shalt say before Yah thy Elohim, I brought away the hollow things, the holy things, the sanctified things out of my house, and also have given them unto the Levite, unto the stranger, the fatherless, the widow, according to all thy commandments which thou hast commanded me. And I have not transgressed thy commandments, neither have I forgotten them. And I may add, many people have forgotten, and many people have transgressed the Creator commandments because they refuse to give Yahweh what belonged to him. And that's the 10th. And they know, and they should know, that this is a hollow thing, a sanctified thing that only belongs to Yahweh. And in the scriptures, it was done in the third year, because the third in of itself is a time of sanctification. No one only sanctified people would do such a thing. Witness number 2 in the book of Numbers. the 17th chapter. Now, watch what this says in number 17. Witness number 2. In the book of number 17. And we're going to start reading at the very first verse. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and take of every one of them a rod, according to the house of their fathers, of all their princes, according to the house of their fathers, 12 rods. Write thou every man's name upon his rod, and thou shalt write Aaron's name upon the rod of Levi. For one rod shall be to the head of the house of their fathers. And thou shalt lay them up in the tabernacle of the congregation before the testimony, where I will meet with you. And it shall come to pass that the man's rod, whom I shall choose, shall blossom. And I will make to cease from me the murmurings of the children of Israel, whereby they murmur against you. And Moshe spoke unto the children of Israel. And every one of their princes gave him a rod apiece, for each prince one, according to the fathers' houses, even 12 rods. And the rod of Aaron was among the rods. And Moshe laid up the rods before Yahweh in the tabernacle of witness. And it came to pass that on the morrow, Moshe went into the tabernacle of witness. And that's what we're demonstrating to you. That's what we're showing you. We're showing you these 10 witnesses to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt. Now they're in the tabernacle witness. And behold, the rod of Aaron, the house of Levi, was budded, brought forth buds, and blossomed, and bloom blossomed, and yielded almonds. And Moshe brought out all the rods from before Yahweh to all the children of Israel. They looked and took to every man his rod. And Yahweh said unto Moshe, Bring Aaron's rod again before the testimony, to be kept for a token against the rebels. And thou shalt quite take away their murmurings from me, that they die at night. Because Yahweh don't like these murmurings that we're doing. He don't like these complaints that we have. But why did Aaron's rod bud? Because Aaron is a Levite. And Levi is the third tribe. That's who Yahweh will sanctify, hollow, separate unto himself, that he can come near unto Yahweh. No one else can come near unto Yahweh like the sons of Eli, and in particularly the sons of Aaron. And that's what we're talking about. The purpose of 3. The purpose of 3, the purpose of the third is all about sanctification. Number 3, witness number 3. Watch this. In the book of Exodus 19. Because I don't expect you to believe me. So I got to show you. Because the first one, it don't mean that. The second one, it don't mean that. But I'm showing you 10 witnesses, and you can't say all of them don't mean what I'm saying and what I'm showing you. Well, let us see. In the book of Exodus, the 19th chapter, which is the third witness, watch what it says. Starting, we're going to start reading at the 9th verse. And Yahweh said unto Moshe, Lo, I come unto thee in a thick cloud, that the people may hear when I speak with thee, and believe thee forever. And Moshe told the words of the people unto Yahweh. And Yahweh said unto Moshe, Go unto the people, sanctify them today and tomorrow, and let them wash their clothes. Now watch this. And be ready against the third day. For the third day, Yahweh will come down in the sight of all the people upon Mount Sinai. Do you realize the day that Yahweh separated the children of Israel was on the third day of the week? And what did he sanctify them for? He separated them from all the other nations on the face of the earth. They were sanctified. Sanctified to come near Yahweh. That's what they did on Mount Sinai. That's what they did on the tabernacle. That's what they do on the Sabbath day. They come near unto Yahweh because they're sanctified to do so. Because Yahweh will sanctify them on the third day, just like Yahweh sanctified the children, the tribe of Levi, because they are the third born of Jacob and Leah, because that's what Yahweh would do at the third. And that's what he purposed the third for. Witness number 4. Watch this. In the book of Genesis, the 15th chapter. For the scriptures teach us wisdom is the principal thing. But with all thy getting, get understanding. And let's see if you can understand this thing. We're at witness number 4. And I'm just under the assumption you still don't understand it. That's why we got to show you 10 witnesses. In the book of Genesis, the 15th chapter, this is what it says. And we're going to start reading at the 9th verse. I'll start at the 8th verse. And the reason why this is important, because you won't see this nowhere else in the scriptures. And you have to ask yourself, well, why did Yahweh ask for this? Genesis 15 and 8. And I may add, this happened and occurred with our father Abraham. It says, and he said, Yahweh, whereby shall I know that I shall inherit it? Talking about the promised land. And he said unto him, take me a heifer of 3 years old, a she-goat of 3 years old, a ram of 3 years old, and a turtle dove and a young pigeon. And he took unto him all these, divided them in the midst, and laid each piece one against another, but the birds divided he not. In other words, this is the time, this is the sacrifice, this is the offering that Yahweh told Abraham to bring him. Now, according to our laws, according to the laws of the Most High, we can't bring nothing to him unless it was a year old. Over a year old, we couldn't bring it. But this is 3 years old. And why? Because it represented a sign of sanctification. Watch this in the 17th verse of that same chapter. And it came to pass that when the sun went down and it was dark, behold, a smoking furnace and a burning lamp passed between those pieces. Yeah, the she-goat and the ram and the bullock. Watch the 18th verse. In the same day, Yahweh made a covenant with Abram, saying, unto thy seed have I given this land, from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river of Euphrates. Because Abram was being sanctified. And the sign was these beasts that Yahweh will have him divide, being 3 years old. Because again, this is what you got to understand. There's a time and a season for everything. You wake up at a certain time. You go to sleep at a certain time. That's how important time is. It has purpose. And this is Yahweh's purpose of 3. Maybe not yours, but Yahweh's. The 5th witness is in the book of Exodus, the 3rd chapter. Let's see if you will believe me now. In the book of Exodus 3, this is what it says. And it's no coincidence that what we're about to read is in the 3rd chapter of Exodus. Since we're talking about 3, and watch how profound this thing is. This is our 5th witness. And this is what it says. And we're going to start reading at the 13th verse. And Moshe said unto Elohim, behold, when I come unto the children of Israel, and shall say unto them, the Elohim of your fathers has sent me unto you. And they shall say to me, what is his name? Ain't that an important question? Yes, it is. What shall I say unto them? And Elohim said unto Moshe, I am that I am. And he said, thou shalt say unto the children of Israel, I am have sent me unto you. And a lot of people say, well, this is his name. No, he's just saying, I am have sent. He haven't told you his name yet, but he about to. And Elohim said, moreover unto Moshe, thus thou shalt say unto the children of Israel, Yah Elohim of your fathers, the Elohim of Abraham, the Elohim of Yitzhak, the Elohim of Yaakov has sent me unto you. This is my name forever, and this is my memorial unto all generations. And not only this is in the 3rd chapter, Yahweh will only give 3 names to represent him: Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Not just represent him, but represent his name. And why just 3? Because that's what we're telling you. That's what we're teaching you. That 3 represents something that is set apart. He set them 3 apart to the extent that they will represent for the purpose of his name. That's our 5th witness. Our 6th witness is in the book of Deuteronomy, the 16th chapter. And this is a law that our fathers had to keep. And look how profound this law is in the book of Deuteronomy, the 16th chapter. Here it is in Deuteronomy 16, verse 16. Watch what it says. 3 times. Why 3 times? Aren't we dealing with 3? In a year shall all thy males appear before Yahweh, thy Elohim, in a place which he shall choose. And why? Because the Almighty not only wanted the males of the children of Israel to be sanctified, which he sanctified them on the 3rd day at Mount Sinai, but he even wanted a particular place to be sanctified above all the other places, all the other gates, all the other areas that we might find ourselves in, that we might journey to. And he chose a place that we had to go there 3 times a year: in the Feast of Unleavened Bread, in the Feast of Weeks, and in the Feast of Tabernacles. And they shall not appear before Yahweh empty. Every man shall give as he is able, according to the blessing of Yahweh, thy Elohim, which he have given thee. And what is this place? Yes, this place is called Jerusalem. This is the place where Yahweh chose to place his name. And furthermore, so you can see that I'm telling you the truth, in the book of Exodus, the 23rd chapter, the 14th verse, 3 times thou shalt keep a feast unto me in the year. And why? 17th verse. 3 times in a year, all thy males shall appear before Yahweh Elohim. Why? Because he set them apart. Because he set their place apart. It's sanctified, it's hallowed. In the time of sanctification, the number that represents sanctification, the sign that represents sanctification is 3. Whether it's a place, whether it's a day, whether it's a month, whether it's a year like the 3rd year, which is the year of tithing, it is set apart. The 7th witness concerning this thing is in the book of Genesis, the 10th chapter. And watch what this is, because Yahweh is not the author of confusion. When the Almighty woke me up to this truth, because you won't find nobody else teaching what I'm teaching today. No one. And I mean no one. Not from the word of Yahweh. They won't be teaching any number from the word of Yahweh as I am. Which should let you know, which should give you a sign of something. But whether it do or don't, watch what Genesis, the 10th chapter says. At the very first verse. And also I want to read the 32nd verse. Now watch this. Genesis 10:1. Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah. Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And unto them were sons born after the flood. In other words, do you realize the whole earth is populated from 3 men? 3 men only. Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And why? Because even mankind has the sign of Yahweh sanctification on them. They only came from 3 men. The whole earth. You'll find this same thing in the 32nd verse. Watch what it says. These are the families of the sons of Noah after their generations, in their nations. And by these were the nations divided in the earth after the flood. 3 men. That's all. Because 3 represents Yahweh's sanctification. This is how he was sanctify and separate. And we know he separated Shem, Ham, and Japheth because he destroyed everybody else by flood. Even Noah could have had children after the flood, but he didn't. 3 was separated, and after the flood, populated the whole earth. Witness number 8, which is in the book of Exodus, the 20th chapter. And if you're familiar with the book of Exodus, the 20th chapter, then you should be familiar with Yahweh's creation. And a lot of people are not familiar with Yahweh's creation because they don't understand this commandment. And what's this commandment? You read about it in the 8th verse. And I could read to you the 3rd commandment, which simply says, thou shalt not take the name of Yahweh thy Elohim in vain. For Yahweh will not hold him guiltless that take his name in vain. And our people taking Yahweh's name in vain every day. But no, I want you to see the sign in this Exodus, the 20th chapter. And watch what it says, starting at the 8th verse. Remember the Shabbat day to keep it holy. Now, what is the Shabbat day? That's the 7th day of the week. And why do Yahweh want you to remember it? You're about to see why. 6 days thou shalt labor and do all thy work. But in the 7th day is the Sabbath of Yahweh thy Elohim. In it thou shalt not do any work. Thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. Okay, Yahweh. For in 6 days Yahweh made the heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the 7th day. Wherefore Yah blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. And as you can see, what did Yahweh hallow? He hallowed 3 things. He gave names to 3 things. And what was it? The heaven, the earth, and the sea. And once he hallowed those 3 things of his creation, because those are the only 3 things he named, of course, all that in them is part of that. And we don't even remember Yahweh's creation. And that's what he wants us to remember. And so he set these 3 things apart on the 7th day for us to look back, for us to memorialize, for us to remember what he did in the heaven, what he did in the earth, and what he did in the sea. That's the 8th thing. And just 2 more things. The 9th thing that Yahweh wanted you to see concerning his sanctification is in the book of Genesis, the 1st chapter. Genesis 1. And watch this. And we're going to read the 14th verse that a lot of people only assume they understand, but really don't. And watch what it says. And Elohim said, let there be lights with a plural in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night. And let them be for signs, for seasons, for days and years. So these lights that he's speaking about, these supposed to be for signs, seasons, days, and years. So if your years and your signs and your seasons and your days, and if they don't, in other words, Yahweh's whole calendar made up of these 3 lights. Watch what it says. And Elohim made 2 great lights, the greater light to rule the day, the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also, because he's about to break down the various lights to let you know which ones he made. It is only 3. And Elohim set them in the firmament of heaven to get light upon the earth, to rule over the day and over the night, to divide the light from the darkness. And Elohim saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the 4th day. It's only 3 lights. That's it. The sun, moon, and stars. That's what Yahweh gave us. And we must know all 3, because this is what he used for his sanctification. And of course, the last thing I want you to see, so you can see what I'm telling you is the truth. And you'll find this in the book of Ezekiel, the 14th chapter, Ezekiel 14. And this is what it says. Ezekiel 14. And we're going to start reading the 12th verse. The word of Yahweh came again to me, saying, Son of man, when the land sinneth against me by trespassing grievously, then will I stretch out my hand upon it, and will break the staff of the bread thereof, and will send famine upon it, and will cut off man and beast from it. Watch this 14th verse. Though these 3 men, Noah, Daniel, and Job, were in it, they should deliver but their own souls by the righteousness, says Yahweh. Do you realize the most three righteous men in the scriptures, or among the righteous men in the scriptures, Yahweh only pointed out three men that if they were in this land, they can save themselves. Their name is Noah, Daniel, and Job. And why just three? Because three represents it is purpose for Yahweh's sanctification. So until our next program, Yahweh love you, and so do I. Shalom.